Well, hey everybody, it's Tuesday, and even though we're not doing anything in the kitchen, we're going to do things that are food related, so to speak. And so today we're going to look at how to choose a cooker, or if you prefer the North American terms, an oven, stove, range. In England they're referred to as a cooker. And I'm going to read you a little article from as you can see, it's falling apart. This is my mother's. It's a cookbook from 1938, and so I thought we would glean the wisdom of our ancestors and have a look at how to choose a cooker. We'll get to that in a minute. First, we need to do our shout-out, and today's shout-out goes to the Detecting Smiths. So you might want to check them out. They do metal detecting, if you didn't guess that from the name, and they're quite an interesting channel. So check out the Detecting Smiths. All right, let's have a look at how to choose a cooker. North America, a range. Electric cookers may be obtained on simple hire or hire purchase in almost every town and in hundreds of villages. Many people go to the showrooms of the local gas company and order a gas cooker without any thought of the facilities offered by the electrical supply undertaking for the installation of an electric cooker. And before deciding on a gas cooker, why not go to the electrical showrooms or offices and ask the price of current for cooking? And remember that a cheap price is offered for cooking in comparison to lighting. And the terms at which the cooker may be obtained on hire or hire purchase. A call at the showrooms of an electrical contractor may also result in much useful information in addition to that obtainable from the local electric supply. When a cooker is obtained from the local electrical supply authority on simple hire terms, it is usually a pay for the hire on a quarterly basis. An agreement is signed between the two parties by which the user guarantees to keep the cooker for a certain length of time, generally a year. The supply authority in most cases agrees to install the cooker free of charge, supply the main switch, and keep the cooker in good repair. In the majority of cases, the services of a cook demonstrator are available at any time, and often an added attraction is the free use of a self-contained electric kettle, which alone costs anything from 35 shillings upwards. Usually at the showroom, several models of cookers are displayed. They may be of different sizes only, or they may, in addition, be of different manufacture. In the latter case, it is apt to become confusing, and it is well for the prospective user to look carefully at all cookers with a view to choosing the type suitable for the individual's requirements. Examine it carefully from the point of view of construction and cooking propensities. And before deciding, bear in mind the following points. 1. The size of the cooker. Do not fall into the error of choosing a cooker which is too large for you. Remember that there is more cooking space in an electric oven than there is in any other type of oven. Every inch of space in the electric cooker is available for cooking. So when making a choice of a cooker, be sure that the oven is so constructed that the food may be placed on the floor, so obviating wasted space. In particular, every oven, other than the electric one, is found that there is at least 2 to 4 inches waste at the bottom due to much intense heat. If the oven can be well packed with food, it is, of course, more economical in use, because it is in heating up the oven that the most current is used. Afterwards, when the food is in the oven, very little current is required. It is also a great advantage in the case of bread making to be able to place the bread on the floor of the oven, as a small oven will thus accommodate an extraordinary amount of bread. A small cooker will save current, providing it can be well packed, because it is obviously wasteful to heat up unnecessary space. So that in districts where the cost of current is on the high side, by all means choose a cooker that may appear to be on the small side rather than on the large side. Remember that one boiling plate will keep 3 or 4 saucepans boiling or simmering at a time. It is never necessary to have open saucepans on each boiling plate. In fact, it is extremely extravagant. Therefore, with the average family of 4 to 6 people, a cooker having one boiling plate and grill broiler is strongly recommended. An oven measuring 13.5 inches high by 13.25 inches wide by 15.5 inches deep will equal in cooking capacity to a gas oven measuring 22.25 inches high by 14.75 inches wide by 12.5 inches deep. Combined grills and boiling plates are an economy because boiling, frying, and simmering can be done above the heat, whilst grilling or toasting is an operation below. Only one switch being in use. The broiling plate would not be quite so quick for boiling, but it is a distinct saving of current when the grill is being used. 2. The hot cupboard space. This is important. There is no waste heat from the top of the boiling plates. Therefore, a plate rack fixed above the hob is useless. The hot cupboard is an ideal place for heating the plates and dishes, and is warm enough when either the oven or the grill or boiling plate is in use. It is important that the hot cupboard is large enough to accommodate all the plates and dishes, in addition to the food which is to be kept hot before serving. 3. Thermometers. Thermometers are certainly advisable in the interests of economy and certainly of results. Most supply authorities fit a thermometer to every oven, but some only fit one on request. The subject is fully dealt with later. The cost of cooking. The average amount of current used for a family of 5 or 6 people in 1 unit per head daily, allowing for breakfast, dinner, tea, and supper, a meal consisting of 4 to 5 pounds of meat, a Yorkshire pudding, fruit pie, 2 pounds of potatoes, and 1.5 pounds of greens, enough for 6 people, can be cooked at a consumption of 2.5 units. So there you go. That's how to choose a cooker. A little dated compared to what now. Like, I don't know of an electric oven in North America where you could place anything on the floor because that's where the heating element is. But interesting nonetheless. Huh? At the end of this, I'll include an old recipe as well out of the book. All right. And in England, they don't use measuring cups. They use pounds and ounces. So you'll have to look up online how to adjust how many pounds of flour equals a cup. All righty. Now it's time for our groaner. On a very crowded elevator in a large shopping store, probably Macy's in New York City or somewhere like that, as the elevator was descending, Mrs. Smith was quite disgruntled to see that in the crowded elevator her husband was pressed up close against a gorgeous blonde. Well, as the elevator arrived at the main floor and people began to leave, the blonde turned around and slapped Mr. Smith in the face and said, "That'll teach you to pinch," and stormed off. Well, halfway to the parking garage to get the car, Mr. Smith, quite embarrassed, looked at his wife and said, "Honestly, sweetheart, I didn't pinch that blonde." And his wife says, "Of course you didn't, dear. I did." There you go. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's little tidbit about choosing your new range or cooker, and perhaps suffered through the groaner just to be polite. And we'll see you on Friday for Chapter 3 of Robin Hood. I believe it's when Robin met John. Little John. Yeah, when Robin meets Little John. That'll be the title of the chapter. So join us then, and until then, have a great week. Take care, stay safe, and God bless.